It's the Mr. Marty Show.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Mr. Marty Show. Welcome to the Mr. Marty Show. Welcome to the Mr. Marty Show. If you're feeling low and you don't know where you're gonna go, come on down to the Mr. Marty Show. Mr. Marty Show. Yeah, we got lots of friends that you don't even know, and stories to tell on the Mr. Marty Show. Pull up a chair, we got so much to share. You're gonna let out a big cheer for the Mr. Marty Show. Yahoo! I'm the Mr. Marty Show. I'm the Mr. Marty Show. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show. I'm the Mr. Marty Show. I'm the Mr. Marty Show. Live action on the Mr. Marty. Live action on the Mr. Marty. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show. Show, 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 show. Bang!
This time of the year I remember how August winds down to September, when we all had to go back to school. Walking down the road to the bus, there was a small gang of us, heading on our way back to school. The old wooden stairs, worn down well, and that pine saw smell. Fluorescent lights that didn't work right, buzzing all the time back at school. There I was looking out the window, wishing there was somewhere else I could go. Never was that good back at school. Teacher said he is such a dreamer, don't know if he'll be a learner. Seems like he doesn't like being back at school. Summer turned to autumn, soon there would be snow. Teachers taught and I was caught like a trout in the pool back at school. The wheel of time keeps on turning. I find I still am learning. It's always been back to school. When my soul is finally free, I won't be surprised to see I've been called back to school. That leaking faucet in the boys' room, hissing radiator through history, cafeteria trays, bell ends the day. Still wanna run away back to school. Yeah, the teachers taught and I was caught like a trout in a pool back at school. Still want to run away back to school.
Hey, want to show your support of Martin's artist endeavors? Buy Me a Coffee is an online site that makes supporting Marty easy. In just a few taps, you can make a payment of any amount and no account is needed. You can also decide to become an ongoing supporter. Go to martinmccormack.com and click on the words Support Martin. Let's help Martin keep it all caffeinated.
Hi, Mr. Marty fans. Ma Gilmore here. Today we're celebrating Labor Day. Labor Day for those who had to work when all of the rest of us got to stay at home. I don't say got to, we had to stay at home. Think about all the grocery workers, the stockers, those who pack the groceries, those waste collectors that every week came to pick up probably more garbage than they had ever seen. And the postmen, no matter what, they had to deliver. I think of all the things we lost during this pandemic time. When you think of concerts, you think of the bands that couldn't play, but you also think about the stage managers, those directors that couldn't direct, the producers, the ticket sellers. All of these jobs were lost in a second. No way to go and stay at home. No way to keep going unless they devised a Zoom class here and there or started writing like mad so that when time came that everything opened up, they had something that they had done. I think of our own situation here. Mike works for a radio station. How do you keep a radio station on the air during a pandemic? How do you keep a radio station that is nonprofit from doing pledge drives when so many had nothing really to give? When he stayed at home, he wasn't just working the normal shift that he would have worked if he were in the building. He was constantly working to produce, to edit, to make sure things were on the air, because they were always on the air pre-pandemic. Now, it was nice having him stay here for a while. Yeah, it gets a little bit worrisome at a while when you have someone there in your house that isn't normally there. It wasn't a vacation, it was pure work. And when he was still on the computer at 7 at night, when he should have been at home watching our favorite shows, he was on the computer. So many people were like that. How do you switch gears? How do you learn from a pandemic that has closed almost everything down? How do you say thank you to those who had to be on the job, couldn't just go home? The nurses, the doctors, professionals, yes, but they were called into duty 24 hours a day sometimes in the most horrific thing that they probably had ever seen. Well, with Labor Day, think of those jobs. Think of those people who stayed on the job. Think of those people who probably earn a lot less than they should. The teachers that had to learn to do a Zoom class. Not an easy job with kindergartners or first graders. Those kids like to move around, and they couldn't. They had to watch the screen. So to all those in the labor force, whether professional or not, I say a big thank you. And thank you to America for lending the hand when we were in such deep trouble. Peace to all. Ma Gilmore here. Go have a picnic and a barbecue. We will. Peace.
And now, 30 seconds of cue.
Hey, Mr. Marty fans, it's your roving reporter Michelle here to talk to you about her job. My job is a nurse. I've been a nurse for 40 plus years, and here we are at the Erie Family Health Center Clinic, where I have worked for 32 of those years. Now, most days, I enjoy being a nurse. Nursing is a field where you really feel like you're making an impact and helping people, and we generally have a good time. I work with a great bunch of people who are dedicated to helping people. I work in community health. I work at a place that's called a federally qualified community health center, and our patients are primarily from underserved communities. Many are people of color. Some of them are undocumented. Many of them have chronic health conditions, no insurance, and it's a great thing to be able to help them. The part of the job that really can get frustrating is dealing with the bureaucracy that comes along with healthcare in the United States. It's really frustrating when you can't get what you need for your patients because they are uninsured, and no one will take care of them or provide what they need. And when you waste valuable time pushing paper trying to get things for people, it can be really frustrating. One of the parts of my job that I really like is when my kids come to the clinic for an appointment. I give them a book. We collect books here at the clinic for kids of all ages so that every kid who comes to the clinic can have a book on every visit. We usually go through anywhere between 50 and 100 books a week. That's a lot of books. And those are pretty much the only books our kids get. Stickers. Kid can't have too many stickers. And I don't know, people keep telling me, Michelle, you should work at keeping a clean desk. I'm like, you can't keep a clean desk. You just can't. It's not possible. There's just too much to do to keep a clean desk. But nursing is fun for the most part. I will admit the last couple of COVID years have been hard and a challenge for all of us, but we're getting through them. And, we're continuing to vaccinate. Some of the high points of our life the last 2 years was the day we vaccinated 1,000 people in one day. So, Mr. Marty fans, it's been fun talking to you, and I've got to get back to work.
Hey, welcome to In the Studio, and I am getting started on the 2022 Marty Fine Art Christmas card. This year I am going to go with an element that I had in last year's card, and that's kind of how I like to do this, is one element leads to the next one. And in last year's card I had a magpie, and this year I am going to incorporate something like this, two magpies in flight. This is just a guide, and I think I'm going to also use the idea of a winter scene in the Grand Tetons, the cathedral group, and the card itself will be a vertical, so it'll open like a book, and I will add my little hint of what next year's element is going to be. There's an old Irish nursery rhyme in which magpies, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, and it goes on and on up to 10. And so the idea is having 2 magpies, 2 for joy, joyful Christmas, that idea. Here we are, it's August. We are out in about 85-degree weather, and we are far away from winter right now, and we are nowhere near Wyoming. We are in Chicago, but that doesn't matter. That's the magic of art. So let's get started with a very rough pencil outline. We'll see if I like this and if we will continue with this theme. I have to be very careful to make sure that the magpies are not drowned out by or overwhelmed by the Grand Tetons. And so that's where we're at. Let's see what happens. So I'm bringing you in closely just to kind of see where I'm going right here. It almost looks like a paint by number kind of idea, but what I'm trying to establish right now is just some guidelines for light and shadow based on just what this picture looks like. I'm only using the picture purely as a reference. My feeling about it is with mountains and with the Grand Tetons, what's really important is to get the shape, especially of the Grand Tiwanaut and Mount Owen. These three sisters, if you will, they have a very distinctive shape. However, once you kind of get this, I guess the best way I could say is this is probably one of the most painted, most photographed mountain ranges in the world because it's just so dramatic. So already you can tell from just looking that it's fairly dramatic. So let's keep going. A lot more to do.
So I just want to show you I'm working away on the first magpie. Very cool bird. Much more, the western magpie, turns out that the iridescence, something that I didn't realize these birds possessed. Beautiful iridescence on their wings. And right now, my whole goal is to just kind of rough. Then I will continue to sort of refine. Rough, then refine. Rough, refine.
Hello, my name is Dr. Timothy Kolbaba. When I was growing up as a kid, I was raised in a family where chiropractic was the main way in which to treat pains, illnesses, sickness. Every morning we would wake up and about 7 o'clock, all 6 of us had to go downstairs and get adjusted. And so I would go down, and some days I would say to my dad, I had a headache, or my neck hurt, or my back hurt, or my ankle hurt. And he would say, oh, okay, go face down. And then he would adjust me. And then he would make us take a pill. And that one pill every day, my whole life, I actually thought it was a multivitamin. And later on, I asked my dad when I was like 18, 19, hey, what was that pill that used to make us take every morning? Was it a multivitamin? And he said, no, it was vitamin D. So vitamin D is used to boost the immune system, and it keeps you out of depression and anxiety. It has great immune boosting properties, even better than vitamin C or zinc. So I learned that, growing up as a kid, that my dad wasn't really treating any conditions when he would adjust us. He just wanted us to have good spinal alignment, which translated to good health. I wasn't sick. I never had things like the chicken pox, the mumps, the measles, rubella, the plague. And it had to do with the adjustment, but also him giving us the vitamin D first thing in the morning every day. And so growing up in that environment was very fascinating. I was never vaccinated as a kid, and I just never got sick. And then I went into the Marine Corps, and I actually got all my vaccinations. So it was very interesting to see how sick I got when I had all those foreign vaccines entered into my body. And so as I grew up, I found myself always attracted to chiropractic, but I wanted to be a pilot in the Marine Corps. And it was only after I received an injury in my neck and back after crashing my helicopter in Baghdad that I ended up in chiropractic and physical therapy again. And it fixed me. Got rid of all my neck pain, my back pain. And at that point, I made a decision that I was going to go into chiropractic because, there's so many facets of it, and it really does help a lot of people achieve wellness and health. And the medical industry doesn't have the answer for everything. Medications and surgery are great at certain times, but is not the answer for long-term pain or chronic illness. Chiropractic, physical therapy, laser, different kinds of modalities can really get you out of pain and go after not just the symptoms, but go after the cause. So I learned that as a kid, and now as a doctor of 14 years, I would say that, one of the greatest appreciation I have for my upbringing is that my dad really shared with me that there was another way to live. There was another way to treat illness, and I'm very thankful for that, and I'm blessed in my life, and I continue to bless those that are around me, my patients, my family, with that knowledge. And so, in closing, I'd just like to say I'm very thankful for my upbringing, and I'm very thankful for my dad teaching me everything, and he continues to teach me to this day. I don't know it all. I know a lot, but I continue to learn about the body and what it's really capable of, and it's an amazing thing. Truly God, his divinity is shown through the human body and the perfection.
The opening of the railway line, the governor and all, with flags and banners down the street, a banquet and a ball. Hark to 'em at the station now, they're raising cheer on cheer. The man who brought the railway through, our friend the engineer. They cheer his pluck and enterprise and engineering skill. 'Twas my old husband found the pass behind that big red hill. Before the engineer was born, we'd settled with our stock behind that great big mountain chain, a line of range and rock, a line that kept us starving there in weary weeks of drought, with ne'er a track across the range to let the cattle out. 'Twas then, with horses starved and weak and scarcely fit to crawl, my husband went to find a way across that rocky wall. He vanished in the wilderness. God knows where he was gone. He hunted till his food gave out, but still he battled on. His horses strayed. 'Twas well they did. They made towards the grass, and down behind that big red hill they found an easy pass. He followed up and blazed the trees to show the safest track, then drew his belt another hole and turned and started back. His horses died. Just one pulled through with nothing much to spare. God bless the beast that brought him home, the old white Arab mare. We drove the cattle through the hills along the new-found way, and this was our first camping ground, just where I live today. Then others came across the range and built the township here. And then there came the railway line, and this young engineer, he drove about with tents and traps, a cook to cook his meals, a bath to wash himself at night, a chain man at his heels. And that was all the pluck and skill for which he's cheered and praised. For after all, he took the track, the same my husband blazed. My poor old husband, dead and gone, with never feast nor cheer, he's buried by the railway line. I wonder can he hear when by the very track he marked, and close to where he's laid, the cattle trains go roaring down the 1 in 30 grade. I wonder, does he hear them pass, and can he see the sight when whistling shrill the fast express goes flaming by at night? I think 'twould comfort him to know there's someone left to care. I'll take some things this very night and hold a banquet there. The hard old fare we've often shared together, him and me, some damper and a bite of beef, a pannikin of tea. We'll do without the bands and flags, the speeches and the fuss. We know who ought to get the cheers, and that's enough for us. What's that? They wish that I'd come down, the oldest settler here. Present me to the governor and that young engineer. Well, just you tell His Excellence, and put the thing polite. I'm sorry, but I can't come down. I'm dining out tonight.